We are live with our second of four semi-state talk shows. We have Mike Reiser. He's back here. He changed his sweatshirt just like I did. I can't wear the same one 4 nights in a row or Bam's going to yell at me. And we have the mystery guest. He's doing his best, Cam Newton. Can't wait to see him dab here in a minute when he gets Chad Hollenball,
Hello.
better known as Carl Hungus. He's going to offer his insight and knowledge today. Definitely brings a great flair, not only on the writing side, but he is a genius and remembers random results from 1994 that he'll pull up, and Mike and him might argue about him, I think. I'm sitting here looking dumbfounded. So, East Chicago. It sounds weird. It's I gotta say. I mean, it's how many times we gotta have a counter. How many times we mess up and call it Maryville? I mean, it's been quite a while. Mike, what's your take on the big change? Is it gonna be better or worse?
It's gonna be interesting. I think Maryville's done it for so long. It's the only place I've ever known it to be, and I think someone sent me a message saying it's been there for at least 40 years. I don't know how true that is. Obviously, I'm only 33, so and I've only been going there since like '97. But it'd be different. So, but it seems like they're taking a lot of the criticisms from our board, which I think is great. That they felt that Maryville didn't do very well, or how Maryville maybe lacked in some areas, and they said they're going to apply that. But I think that's a lot easier said than done. I think Maryville had a science down. Janice Calizzo, Amy Beckham did a really good job. Coach Maldonado. My thing is I'm worried about hands, people hands there. So I know that East Chicago, I don't think they have anyone in the semi-state, and they didn't have a lot of bodies to start with. So I mean that could be tough, but I'm sure the region's kind of right on top of each other. I'm sure maybe some people will help out.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the big things. I know we host sectional and regional, and it goes like clockwork because we have our table workers already set up, and
People have been doing it for 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So that helps, and definitely a semi-state. You don't want to mess that up because you have 80 schools come in. So, Chad, what's your take?
Well, I'm only in my 10th year in the Maryville semi-state, so I'm still on probation, region rat status, but I'm looking forward to it. We just got the information today, the emailed information, and I saw a Maldonado on the list of people running the meet, and a Porus, is it maybe Frankie's dad or someone works at East Chicago. So there's a couple of wrestling names that are involved in the administration of the meet, so that made me feel good. And the information we got about parking, about check-in, I think they are mirroring a lot of what took the good stuff that Maryville did in terms of administration, and I think the seating will be. I think they probably got 6,000 seats above floor level. I also think they'll be able to run that semifinal round quicker, like the other venues do, and we won't be there till 10, 11 at night like we have in the past, and that will make some happy coaches too.
Oh, definitely. I know that's one thing. Nice thing. We at Fort Wayne we ran 4 mats for the semis, so that makes that round go super fast, especially at the first 2 round. The first round that takes just days. It seems like.
Yeah. No coolers. Still no coolers.
No coolers. Uh-oh. You gotta. Well, they have the marked off Maryville area in the purple.
4 coolers. I don't know if they've got any crow's nests or anything like that.
Yeah.
They don't. It's like all bleachers all the way around. It's huge. It's a huge venue. I mean.
Yeah. I've been at Newcastle, and it's a whole different type. I think it's probably more like Elkhart. Elkhart's got a 7,500 seat high school gym, so I'm assuming it'll be similar to that.
It's kind of like Calumet, but with bleachers all the way around.
Right.
That should be good. I mean, I know we like having parents and fans up above and not mingling with the wrestlers, which is always nice to, as a coach, to not have the parents that are on the floor and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think if that was the only knock, that Maryville, it was really tight for the first couple rounds. And after the semis, it really opened up, but you had a lot of people arguing about seeding and seeing matches that maybe you couldn't see. So if Maryville had 1,000 more seats, it'd have been perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about the wrestling now. We're gonna start the big guys. That way we give them a little more love. We definitely don't want to make Sean Streck upset. I'm not worried about Colton Cummings. He'll just bite my ankles. Streck might tear my limbs off and beat me with them.
Colton's probably meaner.
Yeah, Colton's probably meaner, but he's just a little smaller. I can flick him off, I think. So anyway, we'll start with heavyweights. Sean Streck, he's decent. Okay, we're done. What's your take on heavyweight, Mike? And we'll let Chad bring up the rear this time.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think I'm trying to. It's not a disrespectful comment, but it's like Sean Streck in the field, and I think it's kind of been that way this whole year, probably most of last year also. Me and my brother were just having a conversation about guys that I've seen since I've been involved with the sport that I've seen live, and he has to be right at the top. I think just kind of the dynamic he brings. So, I mean, I could go on and on about how good I feel he is, but obviously his results speak for themselves. The top bracket in the semifinals, I have the Delphi kid, Garrett Clark. He's 38-1, senior. Cutter and I think Vakalahari are a little undersized, and I'm pretty sure when I seen the Delphi kid, he was a bigger kid. I only seen him for a little bit at IHSWCA. Bottom, Siglaric and Murillo in the semis would be, or in the quarter, the tick around I think would be good. I have Murillo. Siglaric is a big, athletic, good wrestler. I've seen him the last 2 weeks doing the broadcast. And I got Isaiah McWilliams from Washington. So I'll probably go Streck, Murillo, McWilliams, Clark.
Chad, what's your take?
Obviously, I agree that Streck is the clear favorite here. Like, he won't be pushed very hard, I don't think. I've watched the Siglaric kid from Kankakee Valley, and I've seen Murillo a couple times at Team State. I think if Siglaric wrestles a tactical match, I think listening to your hangout last night about taking the risk at the right time. If Siglaric can be patient and take those risks at the right time, I feel he's the better athlete, the better maybe the more active guy, but he can't make a mistake because Murillo will stay solid and make you pay for that mistake. So I've got Siglaric getting through to the finals, and then have McWilliams third and Clark from Delphi in fourth. Clark he's a big kid, not I'd say probably 250, 260, maybe 6'1", 6'2", not massive, but it looks like an athletic big kid. I was kind of on the floor in Delphi's area actually when that Bam Lawrence Lee match was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that Delphi area, so I saw him a little bit. But those are my four: Streck, Siglaric, McWilliams, and Clark.
Just as a side too, I was corrected this week when I said that when they were going 1A, 1B with Drew Hughes having all pins. Sean told me that it was a bet that he could tech the guy in the finals of the Al Smith because he couldn't get the OW. So that's why he didn't get the last fall.
Nice. Do you know who Clark's won losses to, Mike, by the way?
I'm guessing Jesse Lawson because the way you're saying it.
No, I don't know.
I think he lost to Rogers from Lafayette Jeff, but I'm not positive.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew, or so it's not on our list.
No, I didn't see that result. He was undefeated at IHSWCA, but it happened right after that.
Okay.
Siglaric is Streck and McWilliams. McWilliams is Turner, Murillo, and can't think of the other one. Obviously, Streck's undefeated.
He hasn't lost for a while.
Did Williams lose to? Did he win NIC or did Mamalenti win? I was thinking Mamalenti may have got him at NIC.
I thought he beat Mamalenti at NIC.
Yeah,
I'm not positive.
8-6. something like that. But there were a lot of guys that McWilliams was wrestling a lot of those South Bend area guys pretty close. So maybe one of them he got clipped. But,
Yeah, NIC. He won NIC.
yeah, did he?
Yep.
So anyway, we'll move on to 220. Kobe Woods, another pretty solid pick there, returning state champ. This weight looks, I'm just looking over it really kind of for the semi first time. Woods does have the first bad ticket round match. Justin Akers returning state qualifier at 195. Other than that, it looks like it's pretty. The other three quarter brackets all look kind of like toss-ups, kind of guys that might have a few losses, but they're all fairly good. I know that Andrew Brock, kid from Warsaw's, he placed 6th at the Al Smith. He's pretty solid. Has 10 losses, but I'd say probably most of them are all solid losses. What's your comments? We'll start with you, Chad, on the light heavyweights.
Yeah, I kind of had the same impression that you did at the other brackets. I could get all three of them or not even be in the ballpark. But in the top quarter bracket, Kukaruga I saw last year a little bit, and then saw him in the finals, I think against Akers at the sectional finals, and thought he's a big long kid that just smothers guys. So I like him in the top quarter bracket, but that ticket round kid, I think he'll meet the PJ or Patrick Ernst or Mishawaka Marion, who I've probably seen 3 or 4 times this year. Just really impressed with the way he goes, and I'm sure all 4 losses probably are to Kobe Woods, and he goes after him every time. And so I like his way he goes. Wouldn't surprise me if there was an upset there. Second quarterback bracket got the Kreider 48-3 outstanding record. Honestly, I don't know. The Brock kid I know, and the Schultz kid just down the road from us. Brock is an athletic, big kid. Schultz is a strong, kind of squatty kid. Don't know anything about the Morton kid, so I'm going to probably go with Brock there just because he's the one I'm most familiar with. That third quarterback, holy cow, I went with the Chester kid. I went with like a region bias there. Streck coming off of an injury, or I'm assuming that's what it is with an 8-2, but obviously won a regional, so he's feeling good. Then you got Woods in the bottom. My 4 in order, I went Woods, obviously, then Kukaruga, Moken, and Andrew Brock.
What's your take there, Mike?
McGill texted me and said Chris Riddle beat McWilliams at the Harvest Classic, not Murillo. I guess he officially had that match, so. I got Kukaruga up top. He's just kind of tough to wrestle. Real long, strong kid. Good athlete. Donnie Kreider's a young kid, a young big kid. I got Donnie Kreider in the second one from Harrison. Streck, the other day I was pretty sure I thought he was kind of peaking at the right time. I know he's had some injuries. They said at the Al Smith he beat Jake Hess in rideouts. And then Dylan Trent, I knew last year had beat Kukaruga, so I went with Dylan Trent. But obviously Brandon probably has the best. I think they call him Rudy, so I'll call him Rudy too because I know Paul always says Rudy and it throws me off. Rudy always has the best training partner he could possibly have to get ready for this week. And they always say if he wrestles the way he wrestles in the room that he's going to be in the mix for a medal. So I think just depending on who shows up. And in the bottom, I feel like this is really a really tough bracket. Kobe Woods, returning state champ. Justin Akers, a state qualifier. He's dropped a couple to Kukaruga. Justin Baldwin, 38-4. And Matt Smart was a semi-state qualifier last year at heavyweight. So tough break for those guys. I got Kobe moving on. I got Woods, Kukaruga, Kreider, Trent. But
that Baldwin kid is kind of like a Kukaruga body style, just long, big kid. But obviously Woods is a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woods is on his own. Definitely hoping that him and Paris are on the opposite side. Which, in all honesty, there's going to be 4 pretty good, might be undefeated guys coming out of semi-states with Gunnar Larson and then Evan Ellis out of Fort Wayne. So it should be 220 is going to be fun to watch. You have
that'd be exciting.
Definitely a favorite, but those two can't can't overlook a guy like Larson or Evan Ellis, or you'll be in the consolations.
Could that be a possible third time that happened?
Third
Four
time.
undefeated guys in the semis.
I'm sure
2000 he was at 140.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened more than a few times.
And it's like Gellin and Falkenberg and Franklin, or is it Tolley? And I thought there was
Fletcher.
Fletcher, yeah, I think.
I thought that was only the second time it had happened. I thought 140 was the first. I thought they said that there was Keith, Derek Donaldson, Josh Baxter, and Jared Ridley.
I haven't been around that long. we need the ancient elder here. We'll move on. 195. This one should be. There's some couple good ticket round here. Klimola and Davison. That's a rough one. Evan Larson, Chris Kildwell both have one loss. Ouch. Bracket guys were not good here. And you have the bottom one where you have guys with 8 to 15 losses. So, Mike, tell us what's going on here.
I'll start at the bottom. Let me start at the bottom, and I'll save Kamola and Davison for last. So I haven't seen Cedric Vaklahari this year. Both times I've seen Penn, I don't think he was in the lineup. But Ramus is tough. He's a tall kid from Crown Point. I mean, that could be I think those are all kind of undersized. Devin Moore came down from 220. He was at 220 at the Harvest. Jeremy Torres, I mean, with 15 losses, I think could sneak through there for Portage. And I know that they were very much pushing that. We're very battle-tested. We're going to wrestle the best schedule, and at the end it's going to show up. We're not going to have these beautiful records, but we'll have, tough kids. So I got Jeremy Torres sneaking through there. Evan Larson has been to the semi-state 4 times. I got Evan Larson getting through. I think anytime – that doesn't happen a lot coming out of the region. I mean, maybe it does other places, but if you're going 4 times to semi-state, there's not a lot of guys that didn't make it through 4 times. And I can name a couple off the top of my head, but I'm not going to put that plug out there. I haven't seen the South Newton kid. He was at semi-state last year. I know Nate LaFree is tough. Corian Corral is a big, strong kid from LaVille. He just kind of fell in a tough spot with Davison and Larson at the regional. I wouldn't be surprised if Corral gets through there. And up top, Jake and Lucas in the tick around. That sucks. That's one of those things. They wrestled 3 times. I think Jake won twice. I know he won a close one in overtime in the semis at the Al Smith. He lost on a last-second takedown at the DAC. He went for they tied it up with a stall call with like 2 seconds left or 5 seconds left, and he thought he was still down and went for a throw and ended up losing by a takedown. So, I mean, I'm going to go with the senior there, Klamola. So I got Klamola. Whoever I think wins that's in the finals. I think Klamola's the champ. He beat Larson. That was Larson's only loss. I got Corey and Corral and Jeremy Torres.
Chad, what's your thoughts on 95?
Yeah, going from the top to the bottom here, I'm with Mike there on Klamola. Been there too many times. I think he'll come through his senior year. He seems to be kind of being a anchor for those upper weights too. It looked like Lake Central had a couple other guys' names I didn't recognize that are through to semi-state. Mike may be able to know more about that, but I think they're 182 and maybe 20. So
Sidlow.
Yeah, to me that's a sign that kid is probably a good leader in the room and is getting his practice partners better. So I like to see that. Second bracket there. I saw Embry a little bit last year. Impressed with, he looks the part. Correll's in our conference. Like Mike said, big strong kid. He's seen some good competition these last couple of weeks, and he got blessed with a nice quarter bracket. A lot of times you want to be with that Logan Sport champion. But he's got a tough first round. Nate LaFree is really coming on as a sophomore. Plymouth grinds through the season, and that'll be a they're going to travel 90 miles to wrestle a match, and they're like 6 miles away from each other. The high schools are, so
Yeah.
we're on the free. That'll be a great first round match. I do like Embry getting through there on that quarter bracket. Larson I hadn't seen since he's put on the weight, but I thought he looked pretty smooth on film at sectional and regional. So he's my guy there. Kidwell with one loss. I remember the name sounds familiar. I think he was probably at semi-state last year. But I'll go with Larson being Hanover Central's go-to guy this year, along with their 182. In that bottom bracket, I don't know. I've seen Cedric Vacalahari. I'll tell you what, the Penn coaches, I think they got those boys. There's a brothers. The heavyweight is, like Mike said, undersized, but this guy, not sure how much actual wrestling he knows, but he can hold position, and he looks like he can squat about 600 pounds. So he is tough to move, and those Penn coaches have coached him up right. He basically won a regional crown last week on holding position only, and just striking it at the right time. I think they were kind of surprised a little bit. I think he was kind of surprised a little bit that he got a regional crown, but it just tells you how important that positioning is. So he's my pick there. Overall, I think went obviously with Clamola is the champion, Larson second, and then I think I went Embry, and then Cedric from Penn there in fourth at 195.
That top one's just tough, man. Those are both great kids. I mean, I kind of curtail what Chad was saying with, Jay kind of being a leader. I know he's a super good guy. I've been around Lake Central a little bit this year. And the Davison families in general is just a great family. So tough draw for those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Move on to 182. We'll talk a little bit more about the Davison family here. Andrew, who definitely excited to see him down at state again. He's tough as nails. Probably leading the way. Got a tough, got a decent little bracket there with Austin Faulkner, who's spent some time in the rankings. I think he might be in the last one. I'm not sure.
No, but he fell out the last one.
Okay, I know he spent a good number of weeks, more weeks in the rankings than that. So
yeah,
82 past Davison looks pretty close to like 220. A lot of guys that can win. It's going to take whoever decides to show up, who's healthy, who's mentally focused, that kind of stuff. Mike, or no, we'll let Chad start this one.
My turn. Yes, I'll start at the bottom here with Davison. I love watching the kid wrestle. I'm biased, but he kind of reminds me of a former Culver Cav 182 pounder, just in the style and the way he goes about his business. So I really like Davison, everything about the way he wrestles. In the quarterback above there, that one's wide open. I don't know anything about the Gibbs kid from Lake Central. Didn't see him on the second day at Al Smith. I'm not sure if he made it second day, but obviously he's improving, peaking at the right time for the regional crown. The Mason Cow kid from South Bend Clay's got all kinds of talent. Just when he puts it together, we'll see. So I'm assuming he will. That's my pick there. And that quarter bracket is Mason. Cow or however you pronounce it. In the top bracket, we have Isaac James is who I went with. I know he's lost to Splix early in the season. I think that first weekend in December they wrestle. Lowell comes down to Plymouth, but I guess his James was still recovering from some football wounds at that time. I like the way James is wrestling now in that quarter bracket. Then the top bracket, I think that's another one that's wide open. Know very little about the Harrison kid. Great record again, 33-3. But I'll go with the region kid again, Ashton Matua. Excellent record too, 35-4. I think he'll get to I think James will actually get to the finals. So I went Davison, James, and then Matua and Cow as my 4 on the floor in that bracket.
Yeah, Mike's usually the one that butchers names, so.
These ones I know a little bit better. These ones I know a little bit better. Uh,
Pekakaro.
I'll start. Picacaro. I probably got it wrong again. He's probably gonna tweet you.
Yes, I'm waiting for my phone to blow up.
I'll start at the top. I know Matthias has had some good wins. He beat Cal, the Clay kid, when we had him in the rankings early on. Cal lost 2 that weekend. He lost to Matthias, and he lost to Randy Sneed, who has Gibbs first round. Randy Sneed is sophomore from KV. Matua's tough. He's wrestled Fowler twice. One time it was close. One time he pinned him. AJ, a freshman, I know the family really well. His brother works with me. His other brother that medaled last year dates my sister. So, these guys are like genetic freaks, man. It's crazy. Like, I would be willing to doubt that AJ's never touched a weight, but he's like 6'2", 182, shredded. And Nick was 6'1", 195, shredded. So I think he's a little young there. Matua, I'm going to go with in that quarter. Matua and Matthias. Matua was a tick-arounder last year. I'm going to go James, James and Splix. I think James having, like another thing, just having a really good training partner. He's a great athlete, obviously. If you follow high school football, the guy was a ridiculously good running back. I'm going to go, I think Cal and Munson's going to be a good first-round match. I think this is KJ's third time there. I got Gibb, though. I think Gibb's going to get through, just kind of peaking at the right time. And I got Davison winning it all. Tough draw for Faulkner. Faulkner beat Gibb at Al Smith. I think that could have been a draw that he possibly would have won at the same one that Cal got. But, that's just kind of how it breaks down. I got Davison winning the semi-state. I got James runner-up, Matua third, Gibbs 4.
Yeah, it's how close it is. Faulkner lost to Splix in the regional finals, and it was on a questionable at the edge of the mat whizzer situation where Splix got the takedown, and Faulkner, most people thought he still had the whizzer. They were hip to hip, and they conferred, and the both officials agreed it was a takedown to give Splix the win, and that's shows you what that does to the next week. One kid has a real good chance, the other kid gets the death draw with one of the top kids in the country and a Division I recruit.
Yeah, and James and Faulkner's probably wrestled 3 times this year to overtime, so I'm sure he would have liked that draw a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. That's the fun of our system.
Yeah.
Well, we could harp on that about every weight. I know I went through the brackets the other day. I was like, what would be better? Would we have been better if we got second or third in some of these weights? And it's a toss-up. And we had a kid that ended up had a kid on his back. We thought he was pinned, and then he would have lost in the finals. And he gets a way better draw than the guy that beat him. So, and that kind of happens all the time. It's the fun of our system. Down to 170, Drew Hughes, he's kind of good. He has Newt Rockney Hurley, first round. I wonder if there are Notre Dame fans there from Penn.
Right.
Rockney. Pretty good weight. Tristan Goring was a semifinalist last year. Hunter Moats, a 2-time state qualifier. And then Cornado, he was a qualifier also last year, so looks like everyone won their their regionals. Some good matches in here. Those are probably the 4 favorites that about 90% of people will pick. We'll let Mike break it down.
I'll start with Drew. Obviously, he's one of the best kids in the state. I think there's a discussion going who's the best pound for pound. And he's right towards the top. You could say you can make an argument for all those guys. There's only been 2 kids that's made it to the second period with him this year. One being Ishmael Cornejo, the other being Jake Moore. He's got all falls and 3 forfeits. So, when you start doing stuff like that, you're really on another level. Tough draw for Ben Stassen. He lost the regional to Cornejo, and that's the absolute worst draw you want out of there. You would take any draw but that draw, So, off top, that's a tough one. Picorni from Chesterton, the freshman, was 4th at the fourth at the regional, but he wrestled tough. He kind of got a tough draw also. He has Tristan Goring, who was semifinals. Tristan Goring, just real scrappy, mean, tough kid. I think, that if you were seated out, you would kind of wanted it on the other side where him and Drew could have met in the finals, but, that's just kind of how it leans out. Moat, obviously two-time state qualifier. His only loss is to Isaac James at 82. 21-10, Mario Traficante. Surprising. He's a little undersized for the weight, but is a grinder. I know that he's had some good summer results as a kid. I got Moat, though. And up top, Logan Nowak from Kankakee Valley. Kankakee Valley's done a really good job. I know I've kind of plugged that. I think Brad Bourbon came over from Rensselaer, and I think he's really building something over there that's pretty good. But I got Cornejo. In the finals. I have Drew winning it, Goring third, Moat 4.
Chad, what's your take on 70?
Not a lot different there. The looks like chalk. It'll hold the chalk pretty much, and I agree that the Cornejo Nowak ticket round will be a good one. I concur with Mike on the job that Brad Bourbon's doing there at Kankakee Valley. He's always been a friend of the Cavs in the postseason when I looking for some information. So again, I'll add a plug there. Hunter Moat, I think it's his time. Again, he'll hopefully get a medal this year for going to state for a third time. The Dozier kid from South Bend Clay, it's kind of a surprise. He had an upset or two at regional to qualify. Wasn't no, I don't think anyone thought he was going into that day. Goring is, Mike hit it on the head. The kid's just a scrapper. He kind of caught fire last year. I thought he was a little undersized last year. Now he's kind of filled out, getting a little more mature, and just refuses to give much ground. Fun to watch. And then the bottom, obviously, Hughes, one of the more fun kids to watch in the state over the last 4 years. Been kind of fun to watch him grow from, 120 as a freshman in the state finals, and then seeing him up into a 170-pounder, kind of neat. So those are my four. In order, I went Hughes, Cornejo, and then Goring, and then Moat. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sounds good. I know, staying a little bit on Drew Hughes, he's one of the best, talk about one of the best in the state. I think, one of the best college-ready kids. One of the things that they always say in college is being able to be good on the mat, and I think he'll be able to translate pretty well when he gets to that level just because he's just so good on the mat, and that's a huge thing, huge difference in the college game.
He's also an OG, isn't he? Original Gorilla?
No, he's a second-year Gorilla.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, yes, he was.
My article, I gave him OG status, so it's original. But
he almost was on the first team, and we didn't. He didn't want to make. We probably would have been if we would have known that he kind of wanted to do it, but it was too late. Semi-OG, he's still part of it. He still wears his Gorilla socks all the time, so that's always good.
Yeah, plugging the Gorilla socks all the time.
I heard that Saturday.
Hopefully
those are the nuggets you get in the broadcast. We don't talk as much wrestling as we talk about shoes and socks.
Right, nuggets.
So
you're talking about the Steelers quite a bit too, weren't you?
I think a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week.
Jeez, nice. We'll go down to 160. Another returning state champ, Jacob Kuvac. He's been kind of just ripping through people. I think him and Streck must be having a contest who can have the most pins in the least amount of time for the state series. He's the headliner there, but a lot of good kids here. Pretty good weight overall with some good ticket round matches. Mike, what's your take?
I think is it my start or no? It's Chad's start this time, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're doing the snake draft, and I keep messing up.
Right. Kuvac obviously is the runaway favorite here. Not much trouble. I don't see much trouble in his quarter bracket or his side of the bracket, even in that second quarter bracket. Jared Swank has gotten healthy. I think he had a little foot issue, maybe left over from football. So he had a little slow start to the season, but seems to be clicking on all cylinders. But he's got that Lichtenberger kid from Valpo. He's hard-nosed, tough wrestler. That should be a physical matchup there in the ticket round between Swank and Lichtenberger, both two tough juniors. The third one down, you've got Cash, who I had first saw him on video the past couple weekends. Impressed with him and the way he gets after it. There's a conference kid then in my conference there, Gage Waddle, who has lost to a couple of 170s and then lost at regional. He'll be a tough out there, especially being a senior. I know his coach, Matt Arverson, was a state runner-up and has really worked with him quite a bit and would love to get him down on the Bankers Life. That final one, we got Dennis Engel coming in as the regional champ. My pick here is Tavante Malone. He was state qualifier last year. I watched him in the postseason football. He played outside linebacker for South Bend Adams and did some things that I'm a football coach too, so he did some things I was really impressed with there. And he's just a skilled, very good athlete and skilled wrestler. He's my fourth or pick out of that fourth quarter bracket. My order, I went obviously Kovac first, Malone second, Swank third, and Cash fourth. So over to you, Mike.
I'm gonna start at the bottom. So we kind of touch on that. Tavante Malone was in my favorite Friday night match last year with Blake Jordan, where they were just tossing each other. I think it was like 19-18 or something. Yeah. Just as a side, I think Tavante Malone qualifies, but Stas Stakowski, I know they ran an article last year about, and I talked about it during the broadcast Saturday. He had something where he had caught a virus or something. He was like paralyzed, like a meningitis, and he had to go to Chicago. So for him to even be at the semi-state level, I think is pretty amazing. From that point, I know we had dropped some food off. I donated it in the name of Indiana Met. So, but I'm still gonna go with Malone there. He's an Al Smith runner-up. Cash has looked good. He only has 2 losses, both to Kovac. Good on his feet, good on top. But Weddle, I think Weddle could be in there. I think Weddle could be in the mix. I know he was semi-state kid last year also. Drake Guerrero, they sent me a picture of Drake Guerrero taking down Kovac, so I'm sure that was his first takedown given up this year, where Kovac turned around and big brothered him and pinned him. But it's another thing. Like I think you see 10 losses or 15 losses for Drake Guerrero, and I would be willing to bet they're 15 pretty solid losses. So Cash pinned him last time they wrestled. So the winner of Weddle, Guerrero, first round Cash would be a good one. But I think that has a big impact on the team race if Guerrero and Cash meet up. Lichtenberger's tough. Hart's tough. Wrestler from Delphi. Lichtenberger's a really good athlete. I got Swank though. Swank, I think 25-2. I think Swank could have been in the finals if he's on the other side. If he would have got Malone's draw, kind of. But obviously he's on the side with Kovac, and I don't think there's much more. Kovac is obviously, a beast. He's going to Wisconsin for a reason. He's looking for his third trip to the state finals. He was a runner-up champ last year. Trey Bueller, sophomore, real explosive kid.
Bueller.
Real explosive kid. Not that I think that he's going to give Kovac that scare, but I think we kind of talked about that too. He's throwing kids. He's a good thrower. He has a good high C. He's got a banged-up shoulder, so. But I got Kovac.
Who's coaching at Wheeler? Obviously, someone's getting some things done there. Such a young program. They've got a couple kids.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who the head coach is. Diaz's dad, I know, is the assistant, but I know that Bueller and Diaz were real big RWA kids growing up.
Okay.
Kovac, Malone, Swank, Cash is how I have it.
Sounds good. It should be, Kovac returning champ. That's our fourth one so far. Got one more coming up. 52. Hopefully Bam cleaned his room up. You never sent us a picture, by the way, Bam. Where is it at? I want to see your clean room. Is it taking you 3 weeks to do that or what?
Yeah. And obviously Indiana Matt has a ton of love for Bam. He's been with
He's a two-time gorilla. Maybe if he flunks it, we'll get him another year. 52. Bam is probably the headliner here. Got a little bit of a tougher draw with Breath Yet, who's a pretty tough wrestler. Definitely won't back down from him. A couple other good guys. This would be a good weight. Bam's probably the favorite, but I think almost every one of the quarter brackets look like they're pretty solid as far as ground matches. They all look pretty close to pick'ems. Mike,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll start with the quarter bracket with Bam. Tough draw for Breathitt. I think that's in the match that I'm excited to see because obviously they both have a real high octane style. Breathitt's really good on his feet. Bam's obviously one of the better kids in the state on his feet, in my opinion. I don't know if Cassius has it for Bam then, but I got Bam advancing. I have a Bam winning the semi-state. On the top up there, Diego Lemley. Man, I really like Diego. He's just a grinder, just kind of really grinds it out. Tavares Evan, Matt Grammer would be a really good first-round match. I got Lemley qualifying through there. Another matchup where I was just 52. I felt as a whole was really a good weight at East Chicago. Denzel Prentice, Zach Lorick. Zach Lorick was third in Illinois last year, the 2A. He has 6 losses: 2 to Lemley, 2 to Bam, 2 to Lucas Scott. So that should be a good tick-around match. But then that's also a possibility for Prentice and Bam, which is a match I've been trying to see all year. I want to see it at the Harvest Classic. I want to see it at Al Smith. Did they wrestle at Al Smith?
I don't think so.
No.
I hope I didn't miss it because that's one. Because I think Prentice kind of brings a funky, offensive style too. The bottom, Lucas Scott, Matt Burns has been overtime matches every time, so that's kind of a coin flip. I think Lucas has got him the last 2 times, so I got Lucas Scott, Micah Calhoun. I had him right on the outside of making the semi-state rankings right at the end, but I think I went with Ballenbacher instead of Calhoun, and then Calhoun ended up getting in. I got Widner advancing out of there. Widner over Scott.
It should be. I know. I've seen Widner. He wrestled with us at one of the duels, kind of as an extra wrestler. He's pretty tough. Pretty good weight. What do you think about it, Chad? Where's your love?
Well, when I was doing my article, I exactly what Mike was saying. I think I look at what I had here. I said that 7 to 10 guys here, looking through the bracket, that legitimately can be said to have state level talent there. That in the right year, right mix, they're going to qualify for state in a lot of years. So probably the deepest weight in the at East Chicago. Qualifying wise, I went Diego up top. Also, that Tavares Evans, we wrestled. Rodriguez wrestled him a couple times last year. He's a tough kid. Grammer, super strong kid. He's got some good training partners at Jeff. That'll be a great first round match. But I like Diego. They're coming out. Lawrence and Cassius. That's going to be an epic battle. I mean, Bam may end up winning. May end up winning by a major, but it'll be an exciting major on both sides. Anyone that names their kid Cassius knows that kid's going to have some self-confidence. So he's a fun kid to watch. Prentice and Lorick, I think that'll be more of a tactical match, actually. I mean, Mike's I think Penn will be a little more tactical going against Crown Point if Lorick is who they have there. But I like Prentice getting through there. And then I'm going with the Marshall County bias, the number 4 over number 1, Micah Calhoun. I like his size and length. He did not wrestle real well at regional, but he has some good wins over. I think he just lost maybe by a point or two to Breathitt and has a win over Evans. So I think he's right there, and that's my kind of upset special at the 152 bracket. Order-wise, I went obviously Bam first, Prentice second, Lemley third, and then Calhoun as my fourth.
Seems like a good weight, especially that just looking at that bottom quarter. You have all four of those guys have 7 or less losses.
Yeah,
so that's probably one of the least amount of losses in the state in the quarter bracket. So, I mean, I know I've seen a few of those guys wrestle, and they're all pretty solid. So, it'd be a fun weight to watch. 145, Chad. This one looks a little. This one's going to be a fun one. I think this one's one of the whole weight, kind of a toss up. You have a lot of good guys. You have state actually placer Casper McIntosh. Beam was a semi-state guy last year, a regional champ. Austin Laughlin, 2-time state qualifier. Then you have T-Rod down the bottom bracket, who was a qualifier last year. So it should be a good weight overall. But really, you can't really count out any of the guys in the other brackets. Chad, what's your take?
Yeah. I can't. I mean, I think our draw is about as good a quarter bracket as we could have hoped for. I think we definitely got the nicest draw there because I see excellent ticket round matches and all the others. If in the one above us, you got Clay Jones for Lafayette Jeff, who we beat just by a point. Rodriguez beat him by a point at John McKee. I'm sure he'll be looking at that. But he's got a tough ticket round with Dante Colza from Hobart, who's got some nice wins and some close losses to excellent guys. You look in the top half, Laughlin, who if he's clicking, is tough to deal with, and if you're not ready for him, your day will be over in a hurry. He came out as a 4th placer at regional last year, and then won 4 straight at semi-state to be a semi-state champion. So he's tough as nails, and he'll probably wrestle the Lemoore kid from Crown Point, who will probably try to frustrate that style. Be interesting, clash of styles there in that bracket. And then the top, you've got probably Cameron Beam, who was here. I think in the same position with Casper McIntosh. I think McIntosh beat him by a point last year in the ticket round. So that's could be a toss up as well. But like a top 4 there, I like our guy winning it, and then I think Laughlin will get through and be second. Clay Jones third, and Casper McIntosh from Portage in fourth are my 4 on the floor there.
Sounds good. Mike's your take.
Yeah. Just to kind of start, I thought just kind of touch. What a great kid Tristan Rodriguez is. Just the interactions I've had with him, not this year but last year. What a great just kid. They were saying he was showing some technique on helping some woman down the stairs. Great kid, really good wrestler. I have him as the champ. I have him against Girgenti from Chesterton in the ticket round there. But I got Rodriguez advancing. I was really impressed with him last year. Just full 6 minutes. Like, you're going to get a full 6 minutes from Tristan, and the nicest kid off the mat, and just a great kid. I got Colza beating Liggins first round, and I got Jones and Colza. I got Dante advancing from Hobart. I haven't seen Jones enough. I mean, I actually had put that in before you had said that you guys had that tight match. Laughlin Lemoore, I think, will be good. It's kind of like a stylistic thing. I think Lemoore stays in really good position. Laughlin's
kind of a Greco upper body, go for broke.
Yeah, and obviously last year he came in as a 4 and won the semi-state. So I think that he's a guy that can catch fire and run it. Like, he was a 4 last year, knocked out Tyler Joseph in the first round. I got Laughlin there. And then the top, it's kind of flipped from last year, right? Beam was a regional champ coming in. Casper was 3rd, met in the ticket round. and Casper knocked him off. I'm still going Casper. He's a Calumet Township kid. His dad's a Calumet guy. He's at Portage now, just grinds. 4 losses, 3 at the Al Smith at second day. He lost to Laughlin, he lost to Kenny Kern, and he lost to Logan Coyle. He has 4 losses on the season. The other one was Blake Jordan. So I got Rodriguez, Laughlin, McIntosh, Colza.
Make sure when you're talking to T-Rod that you'll get a lot of words out of him. He's pretty talkative.
He actually has kind of broken out of his shell a little bit this year. So.
That's good.
So yeah, he's a fun kid to coach. I mean, even today our huge school of 250 kids. We have a room with about 2.5 mats, so we have to run middle school practice first and run high school practice over. But Tristan's there the whole time coaching up the little kids, and he's got 3 or 4 little 80, 70 pounders draped over him and stuff. So it's kind of neat to see that. He's done that for 2 years here, which is a great kid and a lot of fun to watch. Also, just the way he goes about it, his business. So we're hoping for good things and hoping to stay healthy and have a good another couple of weeks.
Yep. Move on to 138. This one's going to be a fun one. Hatch, turning placer. He has a fun draw with Dombrowski, who's a former qualifier 2 years ago, or was it last year?
2 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Jason Crary, returning 2-time medalist. And then up top you have Dalen Scherg. Did he qualify or anything? I lose track of all the.
Dalen was a qualifier at 45.
The qualifier last year, so.
Yeah.
So should be a fun weight. Those are that Mike take it. Looking at this one, this is going to be some good wrestlers, but they're going to be pushing the ticket round.
Yeah. I'm gonna start on the top part. Scherg's wrestled really well all year. His only loss is out of state. Malik Hoover surprised me last week with J.C. Leone knocking him off. I got J.C. and Scherg in the ticket round. I got Scherg qualifying. This is Lukaska's 4th trip to the semi-state. By far, I think his best draw. Not that it's an easy draw, but by far the best draw that he's had. And I think that I know I've talked with his dad a little bit through private messages about, kind of peaking at the right time and, really running with it. And I think that he's very up or down. Like, he'll have some great wins, and then he'll get like a head-scratching loss. So I think if Lukaska shows up, I think he's going to qualify. I think this first round, Mishawaka 24-14, Devin Beaver, and Malik Hoover, I think it'll be a very good match first round. Starting the year off, I know some of the Maryville guys were saying, hey, watch Malik Hoover. He's going to be this year's, Keon Jones for a little while back, but this guy that, he does what we say. If he can put it together, they thought he was kind of a year away, but if he can put it together, he can make a run. So I got Lukaska, Hoover in the ticket round. I think Cole gets through, but I wouldn't be shocked if Beaver or Hoover kind of knock him off there. I got Jason Crary getting a ticket. On the bottom, it's just kind of another reason I feel like we should have wrestlebacks to a true third. Not that it changes a ton, but Kyle Hatch got 2 medals. He's number 7 in the state. His undefeated Al Smith champ. He's going to have the winner of Miles Krintz, who's wrestled everywhere. Been wrestling his entire life. Was at Culver last year. West Lafayette Harrison this year, and Tristan Dombrowski. And Tristan's tough senior, real technical, has a little bit of funk. So I think the match between him and Hatch should be very good. I think whoever's on that day is going to take that one. I mean, Tristan has 6 losses. I know he has 4 to Scherg, another one to Nick Ellis, and another one to Evan Eldred. So you're talking about a kid that puts in a ton of time. They go everywhere to wrestle. I'm excited to see that match. I got Hatch ranked higher. I'm just going to go by my own ranking. I wouldn't be shocked if Tristan wins it. I have Hatch winning the rematch of the Al Smith Finals in the semis. I have Scherg beating Lukaska up top in that semi. So I have Hatch, Scherg, Crary, Lukaska.
Chad, what's your take?
Ditto. I've got the exact same four: Hatch, Suge, Prairie, Lukaska. I get this is my sloth plug here. I feel he gets I don't say disrespected, but just get a little overlooked. He's done nothing but like I mean two medals and undefeated this year. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his underwhelming physical stature. He's not exactly a weight room warrior or anything like that. He's just a great position guy and always I don't know how to say it. Kind of scrambles to get into the right spots. I thought he completely shut down Prairie, and Prairie definitely has more at Al Smith, and Prairie has more, I would say, hype about him. But I expected a better match, and Hatch just does what Hatch does. He kind of shuts you down and scores. I don't know if he's top four material this year, but it wouldn't surprise me if he catches a little fire and makes it to the semis next week. But I've got the same top four: Hatch, Suge, Prairie, and Lukaska. Lukaska is a bad draw, draw for someone. If he's a four at state, he's gonna someone may if he gets the right draw, he may be able to upset someone because he's got a funky style himself.
Yeah, definitely. I know I've been watching Curry and Hatch, and those two you kind of expect. I mean, Curry is they're very similar. They're both goers. I expected that to be about a 13 to 15 match, but it was actually fairly low scoring. I was pretty impressed with Hatch in that match at the Al Smith. I know seeing that one was pretty good. Chad, will start at 132. Pretty wide open weight class. Should be pretty exciting. All the guys I'm looking at right now are pretty high scoring guys. Guys are going to get after it, so you wouldn't be surprised to see about 30 points in each of the ticket round matches, it seems.
Yeah, I do think there is kind of a pretty strong favorite in Hobart's Brendan Black. He's put together another great season. He's dyeing his hair black now, so he's looking for a run at Chad Red, so black on red.
Put all your money on black. You put the house on black, and you can put the house on red.
Right. He's got I think a fairly manageable quarter bracket there. Tristan Ponsler had a bad match at regional, and it really put him behind the eight ball with a bad draw there in Black's quarter bracket. I think Ponsler kid's got some state level ability, but I think Black's the man there. In the bracket above, you got Strasma, who's a qualifier from last year. I was impressed with because he was wrestling next to us a lot of times on the floor at Maryville last year, and liked his style, the way he wrestled. Probably you got Briggs and Aaron Orr. Orr's a Rochester kid who's just down the road here from Culver. Just a scrappy, hard-nosed kid. Love to see him at least get to the ticket round and maybe give Strasma a go there, but I think Strasma's the man in that quarter bracket. Didn't know a lot about Jack Tolan until I watched him the last couple of weeks, and super impressed with the way he took care of business in the finals the last 2 weeks. I think the regionally he got like a front headlock, far knee, cradle, just textbook in a regional final, and put away his kid pretty early. So I was impressed with him. I think he's going to face Prairie there in the ticket round, and Tolan will probably come away with that one. The top one is the one where I think a regional guy may get knocked off there. Rumpf with his 10 losses from Portage. I watched him a couple matches at Fort Wayne, at Team State. Thought he's a real goer, and he's going to be a tough out. And he's got the sophomore from Mishawaka who's kind of peaking at the right time. And that's one thing I'll say too about Mishawaka. They impressed me. They were kind of down at mid-season, but I think they've kind of hit their stride at conference and sectional and regional. They have some kids with some not great records that are peaking at the right time. So a little shout out to their coaching staff, and things are going well at Mishawaka. I'm not sure it'll ever get they'll if they're ever challenge the Evil Empire to the east, but they're gonna give it their go to get the glory back, the caveman glory. But order wise, there I've got Black first, Tolan second, then Rumpf from Portage in third, and Strasma from Benton Central in fourth. Mike,
What's your take?
Top bracket, I'll start. Chris Rump, another guy that kind of told me like, hey man, this is this year's BAM, and man, I've really been impressed with him. He's really good on his feet. 10 losses. I might be able to name all 10 of those losses too. He was at 38 at the Al Smith. I think he was third. I know he medaled. I'm not positive he was third. Preston Risner, he looks mean. That's like a mean-looking kid.
yeah,
I feel like that's not a kid I want to wrestle. Like, he's a sophomore. I think he's gonna be depending on where he falls, I think he could be really good down the road. I got Rump coming out there, but man, that's not a guy. I seen him at the Gary Burkhart. He wrestled Skylar Collins, and he just went at him, just looking like a real mean kid, like Jared McKinnon. Jack Tolan, Cody Crary, obviously those guys train together in the summers. I think that I got Tolan. Tolan has 3 losses. He lost to Elliot Malloy in overtime in the semis of the Al Smith, Chris Rumpf in overtime at the DAC, and Daniel Gunsit in the 3rd and 4th place match at the Al Smith. So Tolan's been there. He's had some tough semi-states. I think he gets Cody, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than I think a lot of people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very tight match. I got Blake Strasma against Orr. I got Strasma advancing. And then Ponsler, Denver Smith, I think it'd be a good first round. They might have wrestled at Tom Cameron invite. Denver Smith has looked solid, but I think Brendan Black's the champ there. I got Black, Rumpf, Tolan, Strasma.
Sounds good. Moving down, we're going a little bit faster tonight, so 120.
One less guy to talk to.
Yeah, actually 2 less.
True.
You don't have as much comic relief.
Yeah, we don't have to take bathroom breaks.
Not as much name butchering. You don't have to say the name 10 times.
Ukaruga.
Just as a side note, I saw a certain person followed Indy on a mat. You want to guess whose mom did?
Was it the Carmel 13?
Yes, the Carmel kid. Picacaro. I just saw that as perusing while you guys were talking. Moving down 132 or 126, I mean, another good weight. Got De La Pena was a qualifier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hardesty, that's a ticket round of 2 qualifiers battling. That'll be a good one. And then you also have Gage Torres, returning runner-up, going back the same weight as he was last year. Should be a good weight. Lots of pretty good kids here. We'll let Mike, you start off here.
I'm going to start on the bottom. I have Gage Torres advancing to the finals. He's the number 3 ranked guy in the state for us. I have De La Pena over Hardesty. Tough matchup for Hardesty. I mean, that's probably the one draw you really don't want there. I think both those guys, De La Pena beat him at the Al Smith. De La Pena, I have making it to the finals against Torres. They've wrestled in the dual tight, at the DAC tight, in the semis of the Al Smith tight, in the regional tight. I'm assuming it's going to be a tight match. De La Pena's, I feel like he's came so far even from last year. Just his positioning, his head-in-hand defense, and that's not a knock at Torres, because I think Torres is really good too. I think Torres could win a state title, and I think De La Pena is right there with Torres, so I think that shows kind of those guys where they're at level-wise. On the bottom side, Bean Cardy's a big, strong kid from Chesterton, really well put together, 26, kind of short, stocky. He has Reese Rodriguez, the last of the Rodriguez brothers, Ricky and Ruben. I have that as a 4/1. I didn't have many 4/1s, but I had that one as a 4/1. And then I have Brighton Goring knocking off Tyron Watson. So I have Goring and Rodriguez in the ticket round. I'm not, I think that's a 50-50 match. I think when I've seen Rodriguez, he's good, but I think Byron Goring is very tough when he's there to wrestle. I thought he wrestled Bailey tough for the first period and a half at Trikoff. He's got 12 losses. I know he has some losses that kind of scratch my head because I know that he's been around for a long time. I'm going Reese Rodriguez there. And then at the other one, Cervantes from Griffith Cole, freshman, 21-5, and Bryce Warner, 37-6. They've split this year. So I got Warner beating Cervantes, and I got Warner advancing over Porter. Porter, 33-1, his only loss is the Byron Goring in the Twin Lakes semis. So I got Torres, De La Pena, Rodriguez, Warner.
What's your take here, Chad?
All right. Like Mike was saying, that Hardesty draw into De La Pena, brutal. I think De La Pena put it on him pretty good at Al Smith. I'd expect it to be a lot quicker or a lot closer here at the semi-state. People wrestling a little closer to the vest, but still like De La Pena in that quarter bracket up at the top. That second quarter bracket, I'm with Mike there. I've got Neewaner from Kankakee Valley. He's got a couple of tough matches, I'm sure, to get through to get there, but that's my pick there. I got De La Pena getting to the finals, where he'll face Torres, who's got a pretty manageable quarter bracket himself at the bottom. I watched Biancardi in the regional finals, and I kind of had a Joe will appreciate this, a Chris Wingert flashback. The kid was, short, stocky, looked like he, had one or two moves on his feet, one or two moves on top, and was going with it. So we had a kid like that, Mike, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago?
It's 2004.
Yeah.
So 12.
Had eight losses, but finally got him locked in where he'd underhook and hit a high crotch and basically run a wing on top, and that was about it. And rode that all the way to a sixth place guy. I don't know if Biancardi's got that type of that type of run in him, but that's what he reminded me of when I was watching him there on film. That short, stocky build and explosive action on his feet was, like I said, kind of a flashback. Not to Nam or anything, but just to 2004. So, my picks there are, let's see, Torres, De La Pena, and then I like Neewaner and Biancardi.
Biancardi is definitely going to win the weigh-in. He's pretty thick.
Yeah.
He's going to win the weigh-in. That should earn him a ticket to state, right?
Right.
I might have spoiled it there. You're going to see the guy, and you're like, that guy's pretty big.
Yeah.
What is he, at 38?
Yeah. We're going to 120. This will be a fun weight. Lots of good ticket round matches. Hildebrandt, returning state runner-up, state champ Jeremiah Rates in the weights. John Anderson, he qualified for state last year, right?
Yep.
Yes. 106.
Yeah. And you got David Taylor. David Taylor versus Hildebrandt. I mean, I'm picking Taylor.
4/1.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's David Taylor. You know what I mean? Jeez, what do you? gotta go with David Taylor. You'd expect. What do you expect? I mean, I'm surprised to see him down at 120. I thought he was going up to 180, 184, 85 in freestyles, but I guess he's down to 120 now. I think it'll be. I want to see him after weigh-ins because he's gonna be sucked down. Chad, we'll let you start at 120. We'll talk about David Taylor later.
Bracket gods, obviously a little kind here. They split up Hildebrandt and Wrights on the two sides of the bracket, so gonna give away my picks there. Hildebrandt and Wrights, I'm getting through to the finals. Hildebrandt has in ticket round Brady White, that's an unfortunate draw for a kid that's 30-2 and pretty well respected in the region. I know he gets around and is a good wrestler there. But he's probably going to end his season there in the ticket round against Hildebrand, who's just it's watching him. He's not super flashy or anything. He's like a deadly assassin. He just picks you apart, and you think nothing's really happening, but it's 12-2. Midway through the first period because he's turned you 3 times, he's taken you down twice, and he just does it like quietly. So those are my 2 finalists. In the other quarter brackets, a little bit more mystery there. Anderson is I think he was a 106 finalist against Cummings last year at the semi-state, and I thought wrestled Cummings pretty tough for a while. So he's the champion out of Logansport. Probably will face Adam Davis from Culver Academy. That's from the Penn Davis family. So is it Zach Davis, I think, from a couple years back, who wrestles at Army or Navy, I think. That'll be a ticket round match. Davis had some kind of head scratching losses earlier in the season, but I think he's pretty sharp right now. But obviously Anderson is too, being 45-1. Then the fourth, you got Jonathan Moran, and as the regional champ, I think he's just too solid for anyone else there. I heard some people talking about the Harrison kid, the freshman Harrison kid. Mike, I'm sure, knows more about the Miranda 31-3 from Morton. He's probably no pushover there. So, but I'm going to go with Moran there as the quarter bracket winner. Top 4, I went Hildebrandt, Wright, Moran, and then Anderson in 4th place.
Mike, do you know who's Anderson's lost to? Do you know?
Michael De La Pena. He has 4 losses in the last 2 years. De La Pena twice, Colton Cummings, Ty Mills Friday night.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Quality losses. That's.
Yeah. I'll start at the bottom. I have Moran. I do like Zane DeVault. I think that's kind of a tough draw. I think John Moran. This is his 3rd time at the semi-state. I think that he's going to get through. Cody Bethune's a big, strong kid for a freshman. I know he wrestled Ian Dembowski at preseason nationals like 3-2. Julian Miranda lost to Jeremiah in the finals. He also has a loss to the Mishawaka kid. He was winning, got headlocked. I don't see the Mishawaka kid in there. So I have Miranda Bethune, but I have Moran advancing. That's a tough draw for Brady White. I know he had a good season last year. He had a pull-out because he had mono right before the state series. So him and Anderson was probably good. That's probably one of the better matches at the Logansport Regional. I wasn't there. I like you can only look. Right. But Anderson's a tough draw, and I think that White's a good wrestler, but he's kind of run into a guy that's a buzzsaw. Obviously, his only loss is to Oak Park River Forest, where he bumped up a weight. I got Anderson and Davis. I got Anderson advancing. And then tough draw for Ian Dembowski. He's had a really good season. He lost to Moran a couple times. He obviously trains at Jeremiah. I have Jeremiah advancing. I have Jeremiah over Anderson. Jeremiah and Hildebrandt wasn't as close as I thought it was going to be at the Harvest Classic early on this year. When I very first found out that Jeremiah was at 120, I was really shocked because I thought he was cutting pretty good this summer. But, hopefully he kind of has his weight managed really well. And I kind of posted on the board, when Jeremiah was a freshman, he lost to Hildebrandt in overtime at the Harvest Classic, came back, beat him for a semi-state title. Hildebrandt beat him this year, so that's going to be a rematch. I got Jeremiah winning. I really like Hildebrandt. Great kid, great family. I have Anderson 3rd, Moran 4th. Reitz, Hildebrandt, Anderson, Moran.
Sounds like a good way. Definitely the finals will be a fun one to watch, and sure glad that they got the bracket gods worked in the favor of separating the 2 guys that probably should have been separated. Moving to 113. Ooh, look at right off the bat, you see that death draw. Cummings and Triana. Was it first and fifth place finishers from last year, wrestling in the ticket round. Yeah, Austin Slate's another state qualifier. 2 years ago, he was injured last year, and then I mean, you got it's an interesting weight. Mike, let's I'll let you kick this one off and talk about Cummings and Triana. Two fellows, by the way, great kids.
Yeah, awesome kids, both of them. I was both great families. We were actually out to dinner with them. Not when they found out the draw, but they kept asking, "Oh, what's the draw? What's the draw?" And you just got that like feeling that was going to be the draw. And you know, Triana's only lost to 3 people in his career. Colton, he lost in the quarterfinals last year to Jeffrey Davis, and he lost to Colin Pointer. Huge win for Colin Pointer. Never a better time to get that win, I would say, for him. That's tough. I was at the last time they wrestled. 2 of his losses this year were to Colton and Triana. Was a very physical match at the Gary Burkhart. They both got hit for an unsportsmanlike. Triana kind of gave him a shove out of bounds, and they hit him, and then Colton kind of gave him a hard crossface. So I think that match it's going to be good. It's tough to pick because I'm friends with both of them, and I like them both. I think that's going to be a really good match. Hopefully they both get a good weekend and just kind of come out and bring it. Slates, I got Slates advancing. I think Anis Issa from Griffith. He's a senior. He's a big, strong 113-pounder. I mean, as big as you're gonna be for 13. I don't want people to give me the business on the board. But for that weight, he's a stronger kid. Charlie Randall, he has 3 losses. He's a senior. So you've got 2 seniors meeting first round at 113 pounds, which generally means you got a grown man for how big they're gonna be grown. I got Slates beating Issa. Callum Pointer put himself in a great position to advance. I think he's come along a long way, being in that room with Vega. Austin Line, Braxton Alexander. That's a really good first round match. I know Braxton Alexander has a bunch of kid stuff. I got Line winning that. Being a senior coach's son, another big strong 13. I got Pointer beating Line. Donovan Johnson, 39-1. His only loss is to Jabrin Wright from Kokomo, who we beat twice. And I'm really impressed with the Crown Point freshman, Rehan Uribe. 3 losses to Cummings, 1 to Pointer. He beat Slivka at the Trikoff. That kid's a grinder. He's like the small version of Tristan Rodriguez. Like, he's going to go out there and give you, if you wrestle 8 minutes, he's going to be in front of you for 8 minutes. So I got Cummings over Triana, tight though. Cummings over Slates. So then I got Pointer over Uribe, which last time they wrestled, Uribe won the DAC. In rideouts, he rode him out. And then I got Slates over Uribe. So I got Cummings, Pointer, Slates, Uribe.
Should be a good weight. Chad, what's your take?
Yeah, what Mike was saying about Pointer, never a better time than regional finals to come up with the match of your life, because to me, you come out a regional champ, your chances go up exponentially of qualifying compared to worried about the draw. Take for instance our kid Rodriguez last year. If we lost in the regional finals. If we draw Clarence Johnson in the ticket round, we're not a state qualifier. We had to rely on the luck of the draw. So you win that match, and he's a likely state qualifier. So congrats to Colin there. Obviously, Cummings the man here. He's a fun kid to watch too. I watched him the last couple of weeks on the Region Sports broadcast with Mike and Hawkins there, and he's been fun to watch. Triana, hopefully, if it doesn't go well for him, his family still goes down to Indian, because I'm sure they spice up the downtown nightlife on Friday and Saturday nights. So Fun
Embassy
people.
Suites Hotel, party room 308.
They
I don't
actually,
have a room number yet. That's a lie. Don't go to 308.
they actually sat next to the team Rodriguez at Maryville last year, so they're a lot of fun to be around. I like Slates in that second quarter bracket as well. I think he's a little underappreciated. I think he's very good. I think he has a chance to be on the podium. In the bottom bracket, Pointer Line is who I see in the quarter bracket. Line's sure been around wrestling his whole life. Dad is the coach. This is his last go around. I expect that to be a knockdown, drag out affair. Line doing everything he can to qualify for state. So it wouldn't surprise me if Line got the upset there. In the bottom, I like Uribe too. He is a goer and fun to watch. The Zoll kid is decent from South Bend Adams, but I don't know if he can keep up with the pace that Uribe sets. Johnson don't know much about, but 39-1, obviously no slouch. My top four, I went Cummings and Pointer in second, then Slates in third, and Uribe in fourth.
Moving on to 106. Just looking at this one. This one I know, Mike, we've talked about a lot. This has kind of been just a weight class that you don't really know too much about this year, especially in the region. Much like in the state, there's just you don't know who's going to win this week. Just everyone's beating everybody. Everyone has losses, so should be a fun weight to watch. Corey Cavanaugh, returning state qualifier. I think he's the only one here. We'll let Chad start it off with his picks of wisdom, so then you can rip them apart.
Yeah, I was talking to Mike a little bit before we went live here. The McCartney kids got 50 wins. Move in this year for Harrison. It looks like he got a pretty good draw there in the top quarter bracket there. The Penrod kid is pretty solid, but 11 losses. I think McCartney is the guy in the top bracket. In the second bracket here, you've got Jacob Moran. He's got a freshman from Winnemac who's in our conference. I watched Moran the past 2 weeks too. I like his, especially on his feet, how he wrestles. I think he's got a pretty manageable quarter bracket. So I think those two, McCartney and Moran, are pretty solid picks to qualify. In the bottom, Cavanaugh, again, I see him as definitely the clear favorite in that quarter bracket. The one where there's probably some discrepancy is in that bottom quarter bracket with Brock Peel and Jose Diaz. Diaz has wrestled Moran the past 2 weeks, I believe. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah.
And Moran ends up getting the best of him, but for the first 4 minutes, it's anybody's match. I mean, they're scrapping and going after it. So he's probably going to meet up with Peel. I'm going to go with the Vega philosophy of wrestling that tough schedule. I know Wheeler's not to the point where they're wrestling the meat grinders every weekend yet. Diaz is impressive, but I think this is where those tough matches through the season pay off for a kid like Peel with 11 losses. So my four on the floor there are going to be Cavanaugh from Penn first, Moran from Crown Point second, Peel from Portage in third, and McCartney from Harrison in fourth.
Mike, what's your take?
What? I'm gonna go start with Jacob Moran. Man, just kind of getting to see him a little bit more. I saw him at the Trikoff. I didn't go to Carnahan this year. I took that weekend off. He is really good. He's really good. And I kind of plug him a lot as being really good on top. He had a boot scoot on Diaz, and it was ridiculous. They were saying, for a state title, I wouldn't be shocked because he's that good, and he's small, and I think he could be at 106 again next year. Angel Perez kind of drew the tough draw here. He had beat Peel early on, and Peel turned and beat it. Beat him at the regional. I like Angel. I just don't know if he's going to be able to beat Moran there. I have Moran to the finals. I got McCarthy over Penrod. McCarthy's only losses to Braxton Alexander, who's at 13. 50-1. Like, even if you wrestle 40 and you got 10 forfeits, that's still 40 bodies you got to go out and beat. I know he wrestled a lot with Penn this summer. He had a nice showing at Indiana Mat. I have Moran over him in the top half. Corey Cavanaugh, obviously, is battle-tested. He's great on top. He's kind of like, a smaller version of Slates and an even smaller version of Drew. Just doesn't have that snap front headlock yet that he can kind of shuck by. But he's gonna turn into a dogfight because he just goes out and scraps and he's clingy on top. And if he goes to ride outs, obviously he's one of the better top wrestlers. He's one of the better top wrestlers at that weight class. Andres Moreno, Ryan Webb would be a good first-round match. I like Moreno. He's a backup kid because Lucas Finger was hurt. Lucas really was having a solid year. He lost to Peel too, but it was a big 106. So Moreno getting in there. Webb's been there before. Then Peel and Diaz. That's a good match. Diaz's only 3 losses were all to Crown Point. He lost to their backup, Karen Kelly, who was their varsity guy last year. I'm going to go with Peel. I got Moran, Cavanaugh, Peel, McCarthy. I'll try to go a whole night without butchering a name. It was an easy one, like McLean yesterday.
Yes. Nice. That weight, just a toss-up from beginning to end should be a good one. Lastly, the team race. Should be an interesting one once again. You have Crown Point, who they should be really called the Young Guns. Sorry, Ivan. Sorry, Garcia. You look at Crown Point, and they lost a lot last year, but they bring in 13 guys here. 2 of them are seniors, and the rest are coming, and I'm not sure what Donald Briggs is.
He's a senior.
He's a senior. So 3 seniors, you got 10 underclassmen, and 3 are freshmen, 4 sophomores. So there's 7 of those guys are freshmen or sophomores. They're young bucks, and they're positioned to get 5 or 6 guys to state, it looks like, right now. So it should be an interesting team race. Them, Portage, Penn, obviously, is bringing a whole bunch of guys. What's your take on the team race? Here I can't even came throughout Maryville, really. They're going to have 2 guys that are going to rack up bonus points plus win it. They could make it interesting. I don't think they have enough depth, but it's semi-state, so you never know what happens here. What's your take, Mike?
A lot of these semifinal matches are going to come down to, the team race. You're going to have matches like Corey Cavanaugh, Brock Peel. Crown Point's going to have a lot of guys in there. I think they're going to, get a couple guys knocked off in there. In the individual part of it, you're going to have to get bonus points, and where you're going to get a team like Lowell, who could probably place 4th with really 2 or 3 guys. Maryville's going to have 2 or 3 guys, and they're going to get a lot of bonus points. Penn knocked off Portage at the Al Smith. They're going to have a couple champs. I got Penn. I think I got Penn winning at Portage 2, Crown Point 3.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm looking at, Penn might not. They have Kobe. He's probably the favorite there. But other than that, Kobe and Drew are probably favorites, semi-favorites. Past that, they have a few more guys that should qualify. It's even, you got to get those guys in the finals, or it's going to be hard. You're going to have 10 guys to equal 1 finalist almost. Yeah. Chad, what's your take on the team race?
Yeah, I haven't really run the numbers and looked at it real close. But I just all 3 programs, I think Penn, Portage, and Crown Point just do a great job. Not only they have their frontliners, their heavy hitters, but it's those kids that end up qualifying that you don't really expect them to. They knock off a 44-3 kid. They have double-digit losses. All 3 of those programs are those type of programs. That's why they're the type of programs they are, because they can coach up their kids and get them ready for these type of matches. They look at this as a team race, even within the individual tournament. But I would expect, I think, to me, Penn maybe has a little bit more of the top end, and if everything else matches up where they get equal number of qualifiers, I think Penn may have the more top four type of guys, more scorers. So I would go Penn, Portage, and Crown Point in that order too. Hey, and also on the message board and stuff, Coach Link at Crown Point is always taking a little bit of some jabs here, but here he is in his last year, leaving a team with 10, 10, like Joe said, 10 underclassmen. They're getting it done there. Youth program all the way through. Cupboard's not bare, so whoever takes over there, we can be thankful for a guy like Coach Link, who has done it the right way for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting team if whoever's coming in. I think if you can get a big name, because you're not only are you going to lose maybe 32 as a senior, but you can bump all those guys up, and you still have Kaylin Kelly. Moran's kind of small. That's a great job for someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard a ton of names. Obviously, there's a ton of rumors out there. I don't want to go into who they're saying, but man, just Scott Link's done a great job over there. Obviously, he brought a state title to the region, which we hadn't had one since like '88.
Yeah, definitely good. I mean, you thought kind of they were going to go down a little bit after last year, and all of a sudden they more than just reloaded. I mean, they young bucks that are just chomping at the bit there. Looking at the team race also, I didn't see a lot of the Penn versus Crown Point or Portage matches in the ticket rounds and stuff that are gonna like we did yesterday at Newcastle, when you have some Perry and Cathedral guys matching up, or Warren and Cathedral, things like that. So it'll be interesting. I mean, it looks like the bracket gods got all those guys apart, which is kind of interesting considering that they are all in different regionals. So
and I think that really speaks to the job that those coaches do. Brad Harper, Leroy Vega, and Keith Flink do a good job of getting guys to peak right now. David Maldonado and the Maldonados and all those guys at Maryville always have these guys that are peaking at the right time, and I think that's a big part of the game right now.
Oh yeah, a lot of coaches don't understand that, and it's not an easy thing to master. And really, in all honesty, it's you gotta throw your dart at the board, and hopefully it sticks sometimes, because everyone peaks at different times. And
yeah, it's not a cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter formula. Some kids you have to back off. Some kids you have to intensify things. So, it's trial and error, and those guys have been around and have a lot of assistants too that help them with those type of things.
Yep, definitely. As we start to wrap up, Mike, any last words of wisdom? First trip to East Chicago. Lock your cars.
No, but seriously, lock your cars.
You're in the region. I always lock my cars.
Oh, stop it. I locked my car when I was in Fort Wayne, too.
You did lock your car when you were on Victory Bay, though.
Yeah, I did. I seen the neighbors. I think it's exciting. Some people look at change as like, oh, no, they're going to mess it up. I'm excited to see the possibilities. I know it's tough for guys like Chad, especially when you drive, and I have to drive past like Culver. And I know how far East Chicago is from my house, and I know how far Culver is from East Chicago. We're at the furthest part of the state. I think, not that it's advantage or disadvantage, but it's a huge geographical area, and I know it's a lot of traveling for some squads. I hope it just runs smooth. I hope they do a great job. I hope everyone's happy with the seating. I hope they have pierogies for Chad. I hope they have elotes for me. So, sorry guys, that's Mexican corn. And also, I just kind of wanted to say too, I used to go out to Newcastle and watch middle school state the day after semi-state. I wanted to say it yesterday, but a lot of tough guys going, so I can kind of get an idea of who's going to be there next year. I know the region wrestling school sending a lot of guys. Jesse Mendez at 85, I know is a load. He's been wrestling a lot and has been killing kids nationally. Little Drew Skis, Noah Miss. They gave me a little bit of a hard time because one of the kids, they said that you weren't giving the right scouting reports in middle school, Joe. They thought it was me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are you going down, Mike, or are you?
No way, man. I take Sundays off and breathe.
Okay.
It's Kim's birthday too. It's Valentine's Day. Also Kim's birthday, so I guess I should shout her out. You know, they were shouting everybody out at the broadcast, and Bill's like, "Oh, I should shout out my wife. Do you want to?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." And then I thought about it, man. That's kind of a jerk thing for me to do.
It's your roommate, isn't it?
Yeah, my roommate. But she's always been like, she's a fan of the sport also, and she's always really good. She gives up her birthday so we can go sit at Maryville when it was at Maryville in a gym all day, her alma mater actually, and watch good wrestling.
Nice. That's how you snag them. You got to test them with the wrestling.
She's been in it just as long as I have, so she knows. Now I don't know if she knows as much, but she knows a lot.
As you're looking at her, she's giving you the evil stare.
And she's eating a handful of M&Ms.
Nice, Chad. Any last words of wisdom? Your first show, you did a pretty good job.
Thanks.
At least you aren't in the car or taking a leak during.
Right.
Allegedly, I'm vouching. I think that he dropped some water.
Right. Well, my impression, it's really not. It's like 15-minute longer drive. MapQuest, it's like it's like an hour and 30 minutes for us from Culver. Warsaw is going to obviously be another 45 minutes longer. We talked about whether to get a hotel room the night before. We save an hour coming from the east, so it's really no different than most mid-season where you're 45 minutes to an hour away from a Super Duel or a Saturday meet. So our kids are going to sleep in their own bed and get up 5:36 like they normally do, and we'll get there plenty of time. Otherwise, just looking forward to it. The space issues, and I think Mike hit upon this earlier. What concerned me most is kids now. I think we'll have a space to get a jump rope and actually get a little sweat going up instead of running up and down halls and trying to do jumping jacks in the corner and bumping into everyone and just being. I think that just the space will make things go a lot smoother. And hopefully, like I said, you saw Porus and Maldonado on the information list that tends to make me think that they've got some people that know what they're doing and things will run smooth this year. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, they run the sectional there too, and so this isn't their first wrestling tournament they're running, so that's always a positive, and it's a little bit easier than a sectional, I would say, just because all the brackets are done. All you have to do is make sure everyone gets weighed in and then blow the whistle. So it's a little bit easier than running a 600 kid tournament. Weigh-ins night before, they in the morning of, and kids dropping out and stuff. So I don't want to say it's easy, but if they've done sectional for how long, they're gonna be able to figure that out. So should be a good day of wrestling. Good day of wrestling. Get to be in the region. Take about 6 years off your life for every minute you breathe that air.
That's a lot of hate. That's a huge industrial part of our state, Joe, our income. That's dead region, though. You guys are going to see a lot of smokestacks, BP refinery. Don't take Riley Road. If your MapQuest says take Riley Road, do not take Riley Road. I don't even think it's there anymore. Someone fell off it. They were following their MapQuest like 2 years ago and drove off a bridge. It's not there. Do not take Riley Road.
Sounds like a trip to the Big Tens one year where we went through the region. I think we
we went into the steel, the Arco Midal or whatever. We went in through their parking lot.
Yes.
ArcelorMittal?
Yeah. They took one of those bright lights or whatever. We were going underneath overpasses, through puddles. But Joe had to go his little TomTom or whatever at the time. Had to follow her directions.
I don't trust Chad.
I can kind of relate. One time I went to IHOP and we were like driving through a field of corn and cows. So kind of a different feel.
Well, were you in Fort Wayne or what?
I think so. IHPO.
Yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We had a good time. We'll be tomorrow. We'll celebrate Triple B's birthday. Best way we can do it is with a hangout, and we get to hear him. Make sure you guys turn your volume down for him. He's a big guy, so he's a little louder. So
Triple B is a huge man. Like, if you've never seen him in person, that guy is really huge.
Yes, that's an understatement. So we'll see everyone tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel.